Before that, my next guest is a Hollywood star, last seen singing his heart out in this very studio on St Patrick's Night in 2023. We're delighted to have him back in Ireland before he takes to the stage with his band at the Ambassador Theatre in Dublin next month. Would you please welcome John C Reilly? You're up here obviously because we got, some of the biggest names in Irish music, and growing up there was a lot of Irish music played in your house as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. The Clancy brothers were like the main ones we listened to a lot. We listened to, I didn't get into country music until I was older, actually, when I started to sing bluegrass and stuff. But it's amazing to be in the couch with this row of legends and me.
Well, no, I mean, look, you're a legend, from a Hollywood perspective, all the movies that you've done, but, you're also singing and recording and performing as well. When did the love of all that begin?
Well, I had music around the house all the time when I was growing up. My mom had a player piano, and different people played the guitar, and so it was always part of my life. And I grew up doing musicals, too, as a kid, so music was just always this part of my life. In a way, I learned to become an actor by doing musicals. That's all we did on the south side of Chicago, were musicals. So, no one was doing Ibsen or Shakespeare in my neighborhood, It was all like Hello, Dolly and The King and I and Guys and Dolls. So, yeah, to me, music and acting are completely related. And when I sing a song, I really try to focus on the storytelling of the song,
Which is what it's about, Daniel, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And country music, I suppose, as you say, you listen to the Clancy brothers and the early days. Country music, I suppose, when you listen to the Irish ballads, it's a story. It's the same as a country song with an Irish feel. And I'm sure, from your perspective, you're amazed to know that country music is so popular. I mean, Philomena, how long? You've been
63
years, and amazing. Susan's about to celebrate 50 years at the top of the tree. So
incredible.
It's a big thing in Ireland.
Yeah.
And there's also that huge crossover, isn't there?
Big crossover. A lot of the times when you meet, if you listen to the bluegrass, as you mentioned there, it's very akin to the traditional Irish music. There's a great... And if you go back, when you look at history and the famine times, when people left here not wanting to go, they had nothing with them, but a song was carried in their heart, and the words brought them home. So that's the connection. It goes back that far, and many would say that it evolved and maybe married and became country music.
But it's funny what you say about country music kind of transcending borders. I was on the way here in the car, and I was saying to this guy, in a way, he's like, "Are you surprised that there's so much country music here in Ireland?" And I said, "No, not really, because I've realized, you find yourself in North Dakota or, Chicago or Michigan, and there are people listening to country music on the radio there everywhere." So I started to think, maybe it's like rural music. But then again, there's people in big cities everywhere that love country music too. So it must be in people's hearts or something. There's something about country music and the purity of it and the simplicity of the storytelling that people relate to, regardless of where they came from,
And I know that this project that you're doing, that you're going to be singing and performing at the Ambassador in Dublin, you felt the world was in a place that needed a bit of joy.
Since I played Mr. Cellophane in Chicago, the musical, I've been collecting songs that were like Mr. Cellophane. And I kept thinking, I should go on tour as Mr. Cellophane, but he only has one song. So I thought it'd be a short concert. So I started collecting these songs, and it culminated last year with this new project I do called Mr. Romantic. It's like a vaudeville, kind of a vaudeville, emotional vaudeville show, where I try to fall in love with someone, during the course of the show every night. I fail usually, but anyway, we came out with this album of a lot of the songs from the show, and it was both out of joy and despair that the project was born. So I hope people come out here in Dublin on November 20th. If we sell all those, we'll add another show. How about that?
So Mr. Romantic is more a crooner, but I know that you did dabble with the country sound.
In fact, I performed here with my bluegrass band years ago. Yeah.
And in your movie, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, that was a nod to country music.
It sure was, yeah. And a lot of other music. It was kind of a satire of every music biopic ever made.
This is you here looking a bit Jim Morrison on that, but the sound was kind of more Johnny Cash, wasn't it, really?
Well, it's funny because a lot of these stories that musicians have that we were satirizing in the movie are very similar. You know, Ray Charles and Johnny Cash's stories have a lot of similarities. You know, like a lot of these musicians, they have a traumatic event when they're young, they lose a sibling, then they get famous suddenly, then they get into drugs and alcohol, then they emancipate themselves from that. You know, it's like, I was sitting at a Lakers game one time in LA, and Glenn Frey from the Eagles leaned over to me and said, "Walk hard, man." And I was like, oh, thanks, you liked it? And he's like, that movie was like a documentary to us. You know, like the kind of excess that we got into when we were in the Eagles, like, so it's really touched a nerve with a lot of musicians.
We actually have a little clip of this. This is John C. in action in Walk Hard.
Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing.
All right, Hope, will you stop that? Stop your singing. Stop your singing this instant, young man. I will not have this in my studio.
Maybe it was the wrong song choice. If you would just let me play one of my songs that I wrote, I think you'd like it a whole lot better.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around. Nothing you can do that can make up for what you just did to that Amore.
Well, my mother liked it a whole lot.
Your mother was wrong.
That was a hugely successful movie. You were nominated for a Golden Globe for your performance in it. You were also nominated for a Golden Globe for the original song in it.
And a Grammy for that song. Yeah.
I mean, which one did you get more of a kick out of? Getting rewarded for the acting, or people recognizing the singing?
Whenever the music for the movie got attention, I was really happy because a lot of the musicians behind the scenes are dear friends of mine that worked so hard on all those songs. You know, we wrote 35 original songs before that movie we started filming. So I was always really pleased when the guys got some notice.
What are we going to see you in next?
Well, I got a few movies in the can. I just made a movie in Pittsburgh called How to Rob a Bank. I play an FBI agent, so I'm not the one robbing the banks. But that's going to be really great. That's with Zoe Kravitz. And I have an Italian movie where I played Buffalo Bill Cody called Testa o Croce, or Heads or Tails in Italian. And, A Prayer for the Dying. Yeah, that's another movie I made about a plague in the 1800s in Wisconsin. So.
Wow, so lots of good stuff coming
our way. Yeah, so the day job is still happening.
Okay.
Like, don't let the music throw you off.
No, we're not going to let the music throw us off, but we are going to tell people that tickets for John C. Reilly as Mr. Romantic at the Ambassador Theatre on Thursday, the 20th of November, are available on ticketmaster.ie. You're going to stay with us. So give it up for John C. Reilly.